Okay, I don't see anything on my screen. I just have Joel's name. That's it? Okay. Well, good afternoon. Today is Tuesday, March 15th, 2022, and this is the meeting of the Moorhead Public Service Commission. Commissioner Paulson will be participating in this meeting via interactive television from the address located at 400 Olive Street, room 1766, Dallas, Texas, 75201, which location is open and accessible to the public during this meeting. Customers wishing to address the commission for items that are not on the agenda, please fill out the request to speak form on the table in the back and give it to the administrative assistant in attendance at the meeting prior to speaking. Customers wishing to address the commission regarding a specific agenda item other than the rate hearing will be given an opportunity during the discussion of that item. Each customer will be given 3 minutes to address the commission. We are here to listen. Any follow-up or feedback will be done by email on anything that cannot be resolved this evening. Having called the meeting to order, I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Moved.
Okay, I have a motion by Daly, seconded by McDougall, to approve the meeting's agenda. Daly?
Yes.
Paulson?
Yes.
McDougall?
Yes.
And Hendrickson?
Yes.
Okay, we have an agenda. Now I'd entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by McDougall, seconded by Hendrickson, to approve the consent agenda. Hendrickson?
Yes.
McDougall?
Yes.
Paulson?
Yes.
Daly?
Yes.
Thompson, yes. Okay, customers to be heard, seeing nobody. And old business, anybody have any old business?
Just going to bring up that Jake is still working with city staff on the water main replacement / street repair stuff. So hopefully at a future meeting, we'll be able to give a better update.
Any reports, city council?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I got a couple things here. Last night, we awarded the Moorhead Recognition Award to the Moorhead Business Association for all they do in the city, and they do quite a bit, and sponsor the fireworks gala on the 4th of July. So just honor them, and like I said, they really do good work in the community. Dr. Bob Zimmerman gave us a 2022 flood update, and it looks minor to moderate right now. So let's pray for a slow melt and drier spring. I know we went through drought conditions last year, but it would save us a lot of headache if it was a slow melt, right, Joel?
That's right.
One thing that was passed on consent agenda, we passed an ordinance to rezone the McCara 5th edition from light industrial to heavy industrial. So that was on consent, and I think that's deals with MPS too, if I read that right. And then we got an update on the legislative agenda for 2022, and it looks like a robust agenda for Moorhead right now. So things are looking good for Moorhead. One thing I want to mention too, we got a $500,000 grant to fix up Center Street and to make that work, and just a great win for Moorhead, and hopefully it's a sign of good things to come with our grant or with our funding with the federal government and the state government. So that's all I have.
Thanks for the report.
Thank you.
Public Service Commission, any reports? General Manager's report.
Yeah, a couple items. We've, again, flood outlook, as Commissioner Hendrickson talked about. Bob gave his update last night. Similar information in our packet as well. MPS staff did attend a tabletop exercise yesterday afternoon with city staff, something we haven't done before, so just involving everybody in the lovely 290 steps that they have within a flood fight process. So it was a good meeting. We got a good information from Greg Gus at the National Weather Service as well. Other than that, I've got the state legislative update again in this report, and I'm going to have Matt Marks come up and talk about our power factor assessment. Matt?
Matt Marks, project engineer. So every year, Missouri River Energy Services does an assessment on MPS's power factor. A quick explainer on what the power factor is. Essentially, it's a measure of the voltage and current, which with alternating current power is a waveform where it goes positive and negative. If the voltage and current are in phase, then that's called a unity or a power factor of 1. And that is kind of the ideal power factor for the stability of the system, as well as kind of the best efficiency. That puts the usable or real power on a same level as the required capacity of all of the electrical equipment. So the number that they want to see is greater than or equal to 0.95. Things that could bring the power factor away from unity or bring that voltage and current out of phase would be inductive loads like large motors or fans. And then moving the power factor the other way is capacitive loads, which are not loads per se, but capacitor banks placed on the lines can make our power more capacitive, which can correct for the inductive loads. As well as a lot of our lines being underground, that adds capacitance onto the system. So they look at the power factor per half hour for the entire year, and there's an allowance of 10 total hours to be below that 0.95. Anything more than that would be considered a failure to keep an ideal power quality. In 2021, we had 0 hours below that requirement, or that met that requirement. So we're looking pretty good for our system. In addition to that, I do an analysis of internally of our power factor per circuit or per feeder to see what the areas of concern are. If certain areas have a much more inductive load or have a worse power factor, we look at ways we can address that through capacitor banks or addressing different solutions with larger customers. One we've done in the past is American Crystal Sugar, and they've put some capacitance onto their facilities to help correct their power factor. And we're currently working with Pactiv Corporation to see what their options would be to kind of correct their power factor as well. The basic summary of what we've seen over the past year. Does anyone have any questions?
Like that. Thank you.
Matt? That's all I have for my report.
We accept your report then? Okay. I'd entertain a motion to accept the general manager's report.
So moved.
Second.
By Daley, seconded by McDougal, to accept the general manager's report. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, thank you for your report. Item number 9, approved plat for MCCARA 5th edition.
Again, I'll start this out. Like Chuck talked about earlier this evening, we are working on the addition of the Makara 5th plat, and we have some changes in that. Again, Matt's been working on this. A majority of it's been dealing with our transmission lines in the area and cleaning up some old easements that we've got. So I'll let Matt kind of speak to the changes in approving this. Typically, we don't have to approve the plats, but because of the easements is part of that, and some property that we're going to acquire as part of it as well too, or obtain, I should say.
Matt Marks, project engineer. We just kind of wanted to highlight that this is an instance where Moorhead Public Service and city staff have been able to collaborate and work together on this. Yeah, as Travis mentioned, we do have transmission lines. They're kind of going along, that's 43rd Street South, where they're looking to extend that. because of where our easements are located and where the road and the right-of-way is going to be, we've shifted our easements over to allow that right-of-way to be there, but then still allow enough space for the transmission line to keep enough clearance away from those lines and structures. And then looking into the future, our opportunity substation is there, and the city has deeded some land to the east and south of that existing plot that we already had in order to allow for future expansion if we want to put more feeders underground or have the transmission line extend out in another direction. Having that additional land set aside for Moorhead Public Service instead of developing that is a great benefit for us looking forward into the future. So really, yeah, just highlighting the work that that City of Moorhead and Moorhead Public Service staff members have put into this, and because of those land concerns, it does require approval by the commission.
Questions for Matt? I like the collaboration aspect. I also appreciate the forward thinking so that we can expedite things in the future, right?
Right, yes.
Entertain a motion?
So moved.
Second.
By Hendrickson, seconded by McDougall to approve the plat for MCCARA 5th edition. Discussion? Yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to echo that, yeah, nice work with the city on this one. It's monumentous that we're expanding the McCara 5th edition. Never thought I'd see it in my council career, so good work to the staff at the city and good work to MPS. I appreciate that.
Thank you. I would echo what Chuck just said, and I too am very happy to see this because we've been working on this for how many years, and the expansion is great, and I hope that the easements make it more accessible for not just the development, but also MPS, because obviously we're going to need to be extending some power supplies and things like that, and I think you guys have it all under control. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Discussion, questions? Okay, we have a motion, a second. Hendrickson,
Yes.
McDougall,
Yes.
Paulson,
Yes.
Haley,
Yes.
Thompson, yes. Item number 10.
We got Matt up here again tonight. Again, just wanted to bring this to your guys' attention. This is a project we've been working on since 2017, and in 2018 had some struggles with the communication side of things, and we're trying to finalize that tonight. So I'll let Matt kind of speak to what we're doing tonight and the requirement for this agreement with Western Area Power Administration.
So this goes back to a project that was kind of in the planning stages, 2015 and 16, and the construction stages in 2017, where there was an opportunity for us to move the metering locations to where our MPS's power use from Western Area Power Administration and Missouri River Energy is measured and where it's billed. By moving it to our substations, decreases the amount of line losses that we would be responsible for paying for, so it results in a significant savings for MPS each year. After the meters were installed, we had several hiccups getting communication set up between the WAPA billing system and our new meters. Just issues kind of inherent in the technology and getting kind of different systems to work together. The path forward that we've kind of come to after discussions with WAPA is having modems installed at each of the substations, and that's just going to allow them to wirelessly communicate with those and read the meters each month. In order to take care of the installation as well as the kind of network infrastructure costs, there's a one-time charge of $5,160, and then going forward an annual charge of $2,240. Overall, though, the annual savings we're going to have from billing at these new meter locations instead of the original is approximately $107,000 annually. So it'll more than offset the costs involved in the installation and maintenance here. But this letter agreement allows them to kind of add that into the maintenance plan and the network infrastructure, and gets them the money to purchase and install those meters for us. Does anyone have any questions?
The one thing to bring up too is that as we did this project several years ago, there was a return on investment that we looked at. I think it was roughly about 2 years. I think was our return on investment for actual install. We did have to purchase new meters, have everything installed, so we had some additional costs back then as well too. So overall, the return on investment should still be roughly about 2 years.
I guess the only question I had real quick was, this is using 4G, right? I think it says installation of 5 4G IP modems.
Yeah, it'll be on their 4G network, which is what their other the other cellular modems they have in their network are on.
So the only reason I bring it up is because Verizon just got rid of their 3G systems. Those aren't being active anymore. How long do you think of a time frame we'll have with these 4Gs? Any idea? I'm assuming it's just a shot out of the dark, but...
Good question. Yeah, I don't know how to answer that one. Typically as they upgrade their system, we might have to replace the modems, or as part of our annual cost, it would be just part of that too. So, 3G's been around for a long time, so it could be 10 years, could be 5 years. I really don't know. So,
just a thought.
I believe this letter agreement is I believe it's a 5-year term, and other maintenance agreements we have kind of get renewed, and any language that they want to tweak happens at that time. So if there is any need to do upgrades, we would work it into a future agreement.
No worries.
Sure.
Any other questions? Okay, I'd entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Paulson, seconded by Hendrickson, to approve the letter agreement with WAPA. Discussion? Seeing none. Hendrickson,
Yes.
McDougall,
Yes.
Paulson,
Yes.
Daley,
Yes.
Thompson, yes. Okay, thank you very much. Staying there because it's probably his next item.
That's right.
Item number 11. Mr. Schmidt.
Sure. Again, as you know, back in June of last year, we had a lightning strike due to a weather event at our DOE TAP substation. And a few weeks ago, we we approved specifications. So tonight, we're going to award the transformer bid. Matt, I'll let you go into the details of it.
Sure. So this, and since there are kind of 2 bid processes going on at once, this one is for the permanent replacement for that transformer. We received 3 bids. One of them had to be rejected because it did not include a bidder's bond. So there were 2 bids remaining. The lowest bidder was Pennsylvania Transformer Technology, and their total cost they had was just a little over $2.3 million. And their estimated delivery date is April, and they're saying April to May of 2023. We're seeing a lot in the industry of long lead times and escalated material costs. So that kind of played into some exceptions that they had on the terms and conditions, and looking to set up a payment in stages throughout the process of awarding of the bid, approval of the drawings, factory testing, making multiple payments throughout instead of one payment at the very end, for them to try to control the costs and recoup their costs as well in constructing this transformer. We did have DGR Engineering evaluate the bids and look at the research and the experience and qualifications of this Pennsylvania transformer. We don't have any of their transformers currently on our system, but there were quite a list of transformers of a similar size that they have built in the past year here, as well as other transformers that have been delivered to utilities along the East Coast. So they are comfortable with the specifications that will be met of the transformer that Pennsylvania Transformer is offering, as well as the work that is done at their factory. Due to the kind of changes in those terms and conditions, the contract will look a little different than what was originally put out in the specifications we sent out. So our attorney, John Bolger, will review any changes and approve the final version of that contract prior to actual signature. The other thing to point out here would be the engineer's estimate for this transformer was $3.25 million, so this bid here did come in under that estimate. Any other questions on this?
Matt, do you want to talk about the transformer expert that DGR was utilizing to help them with this as well?
Yeah, so DGR hired an outside consultant that basically his full job is working with transformers, the testing and construction and installation of these transformers. He took a look at Pennsylvania Transformer and kind of their qualifications, as well as with the other bid. And his recommendation as well was to go with Pennsylvania Transformer. The different terms that they had, he says, are pretty common, especially nowadays, in what was in their proposal. He kind of had some questions on some of the details of their proposal that DGR then followed up with Pennsylvania Transformer. We did get some information back today from them, clearing up some of those questions. So with the consultant and with DGR's analysis of those questions and those details, they've kind of given us their formal recommendation for us to continue forward with this bidder.
Matt, is there any additional cost? I know we've been discussing the 5-year warranty and a few other items. Are any of those items going to be impacting the overall purchase price? If so, we might need to modify our recommendation a little bit.
Yeah, so our the firm pricing that they are offering with payments along the way is actually at set at a price of 2.47 instead of that 2.37 based on the time frame. They had a formula basically for the escalation of costs. So it would actually be, yes, recommending it at 2.475 or $2,475,855 to be exact, with an additional 5% increase to that to extend the 1-year warranty that was offered in the bid, extend that up to 5 years full warranty. So that amount would be the basis of our recommendation to award this bid. Thanks, Travis.
Go ahead, Mr. Hendrickson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just reading this bid summary, I see a bid security at 10%. Could you explain that a little bit to me?
It's kind of analogous to like earnest money when you're making an offer on a house. The bid security needs to be provided, and that basically the bidder has to go to their bank or financing organization to secure that bid bond that they send in with the bid, and then those bid securities or bidders bonds are then returned to any of the unsuccessful bidders after the award of the bid.
And one other question too. Look at Pennsylvania Transformer. We see a guaranteed delivery date of 4/30/23. And I may be getting into the weeds here a little bit, but what happens if they don't meet that? We got a few things going on in the world right now.
Right, and that was also kind of addressed that that this is the date that they're moving for. If there's some failure on that part, if there's some failure on their part that causes that delivery to go out further, they're not going to then escalate the prices any further based on the increased material costs. However, we were kind of aware going into this that that's the date they're going. We know that there are things that can happen that are unforeseen, as well as just difficulty in general getting materials. And that's actually part of the reason that we have the temporary transformer, which the bid opening for that one will be tomorrow, to put in place until such time as this new transformer is able to be delivered and installed, so that we're not counting on an April date and then realizing, oh, it's actually going to get moved out further and further. There are some penalties for any delays that are caused due to gross negligence on their part, but things that happen that are kind of outside of anyone's control, kind of just have to live with it and realize that we're not going to get a better, the same delays that could impact Pennsylvania Transformer would impact any of the other bidders as well.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Matt, you might want to note that the other bidder had like, was it a 3-year lead time?
Yes, their expected delivery date was into 2025, the other qualified bidder on there. So even with delays, this was still the more attractive of the two options. But yes, we are aware that there could be delays that are kind of outside of our control or outside of their control. So our temporary transformer is kind of a contingency against those delays.
Any other questions? I'd entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion by Daley, seconded by McDougal to the award the bid for the the transformer.
Chair Thompson,
Yeah.
do you want to include the increased cost for the firm pricing and the warranty as well in your recommendation?
I would include that in my motion.
And second is still?
Agreed.
Okay, great. So we now have a full motion on the table. Any further discussion? Seeing none. Daley?
Yes.
Thompson, yes. Paulson?
Yes.
Dougal?
Yes.
Hendrickson?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you, Matt. Approved policy on sponsorships. Mr. Schmidt.
Sure, I'll be taking this one. As we've been talking about policies over the last several months, we have another one in front of us tonight. This is the policy on sponsorships. Previously, we did not have a policy on sponsorships. It was more of an in-house process. We do have authority through state statutes to allow up to $50,000 for sponsorships. However, we really never hit that before either. However, as part of trying to put together some formal commission policies and administrative policies as well too, I have the sponsorship policy in front of you tonight, along with the administrative policy. Flaherty and Hood has helped us put together the policies in front of you. One, to provide guidance as a commission, how to approve that as a commission, and then and or refuse that as well. Along with that, in the administrative policy, giving guidance on what is allowable and how those can get approved or denied. You do also, the commission policy also provides some guidance for the general manager to review those policies, and then if they do not meet the normal criteria that they would be, I could deny those. Again, you would have full approval or denial if they wanted to have the commission review that as well too. Again, this is giving, and then I would also give recommendations on anything that has that's a viable sponsorship as well too. So other than that, that's really the overall changes or what's provided in front of you tonight. So I'll let you know I'll answer any questions if you have them.
Go ahead, Mr. Hendrickson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So this is brand new?
New policy.
What new policy?
New policy.
Okay, I've always wondered that since I've been on this board, what are the policies for sponsorship? So good work. And you did go through Flaherty and Hood, correct?
Correct. Yep. They, as part of some review of our policies, they've been kind of included in that, or reviewing those to provide guidance as part of League of Minnesota Cities and Utilities.
Very good. I think this is I think it's time, and I think it's a good policy. I read through it. Follows all the statutes in Minnesota. So good work on this. I appreciate this. Thanks.
Yeah, again, like I said, at the end of the day, I'll provide a recommendation to the commission, and you guys can vet whether or not you want to fulfill that sponsorship or not, so.
Can you give me an example of a sponsorship that we currently have, or are we right now sponsorship free?
Right now, we actually don't have any sponsorships. We've kind of put a pause on those until we got a review done and had this policy put in place. We could have like Bridge Bash. We've done some stuff in the past where we've provided our wire spools as tables on the Bridge Bash. So we've done stuff like that in kind. Others that we've done have been the Moorhead Business Association annual meeting. That is something that we'll have to look at as we move forward. I think we've seen some stuff coming from the schools as well. So there's a few items that we need to look at in a little bit more in depth as we move forward.
Thank you. Go ahead, Commissioner Daley.
Thank you. I want to thank those who playing with my microphone. There we go. I think it really keeps the best interests of our customers in mind and does offer some guidelines, because I think they were lacking in previous choices. So I think this is a good move. Thank you to you, and of course Flaherty and Hood comes through. They've always got somebody for each department. Thank you.
Seeing no more questions, I entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Hendrickson, seconded by Daley, to approve the policy on sponsorships. Discussion. Seeing none, Hendrickson,
Yes.
McDougal,
Yes.
Paulson,
Yes.
Thompson, yes, Daley.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, this meeting will now be in closed session for executive session. As permitted by Minnesota statute, section 13D.05, subdivision 3B, under attorney-client privilege to discuss potential claim involving parcel number 58.122.0190 in Moorhead. Do we expect action to be taken upon conclusion of the executive session?
Not tonight, Madam Chair.
So, further action is not expected in open session, therefore we will adjourn upon conclusion of executive session. And make a motion to close the session, close for executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion. Oh, and, and to close the meeting as well?
Put
Okay.
that in there too.
All right, thank you. Who seconded it?
I did.
Okay, motion by Daley, seconded by McDougal, to close the meeting for executive session and to close the meeting in whole.
Closed session.
Chris was mentioning that we're going to close this meeting finally.
Correct.
Because there's not going to be any further action.
Correct. Hendrickson,
Yes.
McDougal,
Yes.
Paulson,
Yes.
Daley,
Yes.
Thompson, yes. Okay, meeting's now closed for executive session. Thank you for coming.